What's good, everybody? It's your boy Maurice, the sports historian, back again with another video. This time we're going to be going over the NFL Divisional Round playoffs. We're going to be talking about all 4 games that happened over the weekend. Before we get started in this video, if you guys like sports content, if you guys enjoy that sort of thing, please make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. It goes a very, very long way. I would also like to thank y'all for getting the channel to 100 subs. We actually hit 100 subs on December 31st, so we hit it right before the new year. Appreciate y'all for all the support. More videos will be coming out soon. I promise I will try my best to not go on no more hiatus, and we sticking to the 2 videos a week plan, man. This is me re-recording this video now, so hey, without further ado though, let's get into it. We're gonna go ahead and go in order. So that means we starting with Texans, Ravens. Got a few things to say about this game, but if you watch this game, it was pretty evident that there was a difference between the first half and the second half. In the first half, the Texans did well blitzing Lamar Jackson, so the passing game wasn't super effective. They also, towards the end of the first half, they got to him like a good amount. I think they might have had like 2 or 3 straight sacks on a drive to knock him out of field goal range, which kept the game at 10-10 going into the half. The Ravens, though, I will say their defense held very, very well. They did allow I will say the Ravens defense held very, very well. During the entire game, the Texans did not run a single play within the Ravens' 25-yard line or fewer, so they went crazy. The only touchdown that was allowed was actually a punt return touchdown, which isn't the defense's fault, it's the special teams. And that did happen. They gave the Texans momentum because it kind of felt like we were starting to build more momentum because the crowd was a huge factor. I think they caused like 5 false starts. So the Ravens had crazy momentum. And then that punt return happened. Absolutely just, it was quiet as hell at M&T Bank Stadium. I will say that. What did work for the Ravens, though, they were able to run on the Texans a lot. Like, even during the first half, the Texans really had no answer for the Ravens' rushing attack. It was, I think, one or two times, maybe the Texans might have not spied Lamar, and you just can't do that. He gashed them up the middle for like, I think maybe 19, 20 yards, 15 plus yards, like twice, including the touchdown run. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, 4 touchdowns on the day, 2 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown runs, 250 total yards of offense. I think he had like a 73% completion percentage. Surgical all game. Was crazy. Really, really glad that he had such a good performance. And they moving on to the AFC Championship. Oh, I do want to say one thing else. CJ Stroud, man, for what it's worth, because the Ravens was pressuring the hell out of CJ Stroud, he played well. He had 1 pick that was dropped by Kyle Hamilton, but besides that, he played pretty well. He made some big time throws when he could and when he needed to. It was just they just couldn't handle the Ravens defense, and then our offense got going. And after that first touchdown, the game was over with. I saw the writing on the walls. They couldn't move the ball on them, and you can't move the ball, you can't score. So that's that. Next, we're gonna go ahead and move on to Packers Niners, which was a slugfest, which is also what I expected. It seems like every time these teams play each other in the playoffs, it's a pretty decent game. So I was definitely locked in on this. We found out a few things about the Packers. We found out a few things about the 49ers. One, let's start with the Packers because they lost. The future is very bright for this team. This is a super, super young team. I believe it's one of the youngest teams to ever win a playoff game, and they did so against the Cowboys. But this team, really bright future. When I end up doing the tier list, like review video later down the road after the Super Bowl, I believe I may have had them like in a D or a C tier. This team, they have a lot of youth, and with that youth, they got a pretty damn good bunch. Jordan Love, I did like the way he played during most of the game. Obviously don't like that last minute, turnover to seal the game for the 49ers, but as I was saying to a bunch of people, the spirit of Brett Favre jumped in Jordan Love for that one play. Besides that, though, the 49ers were like they didn't head into this game and they didn't dominate like I would have wanted a 1 seed to against a 6 seed. They were actually down for a good portion during this game. And one thing that we also saw, Brock Purdy didn't have his greatest game of the season. He's had plenty of better performances than that. Didn't play particularly well. But as a self-proclaimed former Brock Purdy hater, because at the beginning of the season, I really wasn't a fan of Brock Purdy. I didn't like Brock Purdy. I thought Brock Purdy was a product of the system around him, which is a little true, and this is a backhanded compliment. But I've come to respect Brock Purdy as a player, man. Like, he don't do shit but ball. I'm not even gonna say anything negative about him. He don't do shit but ball, bro. And honestly, I ain't got nothing against the guy no more. I was like planning on taking victory laps after the Ravens 49ers matchup on Christmas, but like, nah, bro, we won, and it was cool. I can't even hate on Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna hate on Brock Purdy. Not his best showing, but that last the game-winning drive definitely clutched up during that. Also, Brandon Ayuk, love Brandon Ayuk, one of my favorite receivers in the league. Do I have anything else to say about this game? Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in football. And yeah, where was Joey Bosa? Where was Chase Young? I don't know. I couldn't find him during the game. Maybe you could. Next up is Buccaneers Lions. You gotta respect Baker Mayfield, man. He played all right during this game. The first pick wasn't his fault. The second pick definitely was his fault. The first pick got tipped off of Mike Evans' hands. Mike Evans, a very confusing player. He's been the model of consistency because he's had, 9, 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons. But his hands are like subpar sometimes. He got stone hands sometimes. You look at the pick that Baker threw, the first one, off his hands. And then later on in the game, he makes that crazy-ass sliding catch, brings it in, not even a question. It was just, oh yeah, that's just what Mike Evans does. Also caught a touchdown. He had like 8 receptions for like a buck something. I don't know. He played well though. Lions, man, Aiden Hutchinson played his ass off. That boy is a problem. But hey, I made a video on the Lions earlier, and I talked about how the NFC North was their division to lose. I ended up being right about that. Hey, I ended up being right about that is all I'm going to say. So this Lions team, watch out for them. I feel like a lot of people are underestimating this Lions team, but they're a good team. They are a good team. Finally, we're going to talk about Chiefs-Bills. The game of the week, the game that everybody's talking about, the game that I haven't shut the fuck up about since yesterday. Chiefs-Bills, man. Some takeaways that I have from this. The Chiefs offense scored whenever they wanted to on the Bills defense, and they did so in quick fashion. The Chiefs had the ball for less than 23 minutes. I think the official time was like 22:57. The Bills had the ball for what is it, like 30, what's that, 30, 33, if I can do math, something, no, 37. They had the ball for 37 minutes, if I can do math. I can't even help but feel bad for Josh Allen, bro. He played his ass off. He played his heart out. And this season that the Bills have had, through all the injury, through them being 6-6 and ending on I think a 6-7 game win streak or some shit like that. Something crazy. Rattling off wins, coming back to take the number 2 seed in the AFC, coming back to win the AFC East, to absolutely beat the Dolphins' ass on their way to the playoffs. They didn't really stomp on, but they beat the Steelers, and then for it to end like that with just the disappointing drops and the unfortunate situation with the Deion Dawkins not holding up is hell, bro. It's hell. I feel bad for Bills fans. Bills fans been going through it. But yeah, shit sucks, man. And I feel for you. I definitely feel for you. Not how you want it to go out. I personally thought that the Bills were going to meet the Ravens in the AFC Championship. And unfortunately, my homeboy did it again. Man. So now that we have gone over the 4 divisional games, I guess in this video I should also give my predictions for the AFC and NFC Championship. So first off, we're going to start with the game that happens earlier in the day, which is the AFC Championship. The Kansas City Chiefs travel to M&T Bank Stadium to face off against the Baltimore Ravens. I'm a Ravens fan, so obviously I'm going to predict the Ravens to win, but I'm going to give you a few reasons why the Ravens are going to win. During the Bills game, I noticed that they couldn't really stop the run. They could not stop the run against James Cook and Josh Allen. So if they couldn't stop those two, I imagine they're also going to have a hard time trying to stop Lamar and Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. Shit, Melvin Gordon if he gets a touch. Um, yeah, I foresee that being an issue for this Chiefs defense. This Chiefs defense is pretty damn good, though. It's probably the best defense that we've seen Patrick Mahomes with, and so I do think that they do have, obviously, they have a chance of winning this game. But it's gonna come down to their run defense first and foremost, and their shaky run defense is why I am predicting the Ravens to win the game. I don't think it's going to be a super high scoring game, maybe like 28-21 Ravens, something like that. But yeah, I got the Ravens going to the Super Bowl. I got the Ravens winning the AFC Championship. Next up, obviously, we will be talking about the NFC Championship. The Detroit Lions take a trip to Santa Clara to face off against the San Francisco 49ers. Now listen, I like this Detroit team. I do not like their defense, bro. I don't like the performance that they had against the Buccaneers. And when you're going up against a team like the 49ers, who they firing on all cylinders. They got the wide receivers in Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. They got the tight end in, George Kittle. They got the best running back in the league in Christian McCaffrey. They got fucking Trent Williams at left tackle, who they just run with, and that motherfucker gets like 6 yards downfield, and he's blocking a DB, and it's like Debo running behind him for a fucking touch. It's ridiculous, bro. They got a whole bunch of shit. And so I see this being a shootout, but I see this being a shootout that the 49ers will end up winning. The 49ers do have some injuries on the defensive side of the ball. That secondary, Talanoa Hufanga, he's not playing. He hasn't been playing since like week. I don't have me up here lying, but I know he ain't been playing for a while. But yeah, man, I'm not gonna say Detroit has no chance, but I think that Detroit has less of a chance of beating the 49ers than the Chiefs do of beating the Ravens. That's all I'll say about that. But that's it. That's all I got for this video. Again, this is my second time recording it, and I think I actually beat the time that I recorded it the first time. So, hey, second time's a charm, I guess. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Leave a comment on who you guys think is going to win the AFC and NFC championships. And I'll see y'all later, man. Deuces.